Hey everybody, welcome back to another quick tie. I am Tim Hepworth here with Fly Fishing Bover Outfitters and Thursday Night Live Fly Tying, and this quick tie is brought to you by Western Canada Fly Fishing Guide School. You can see the website here below. If you're interested in that, go over and check it out. I am tying out of a Season 6 kit, and this is Episode 2, and this fly is this bad boy right here. We got the Slum Hopper. Hopper season. We love it. Great little pattern. This one's actually a very simple tie. I think you're going to enjoy it. I'm tying, like I said, out of a Season 6 kit, but if you are tying out of our individual kits, that's awesome as well. All the steps are going to be exactly the same. Your packaging is just going to look a little bit different. Don't forget to head on over and like and subscribe to this video. That helps us a ton. It helps you a ton. It allows us to do more of these for you. Don't forget to click that little bell icon because that's also going to let you know every time we have another video ready for you. So if you are tying out your seasons... Replay squad. You're part of the replay squad. And you never know, some stuff pops up in here you might have wanted to been watching because you might win something, you never know. This is the Season 6 kit. This is what I'll be tying out of. If you are as well, go ahead and grab your Season 6 Episode 2. You're going to see in the back side, there is that foam pattern there. Go ahead and grab that out, get all the materials emptied out and onto your table. This one is not a ton of materials, there's only a few, so it's not too hectic in that form. I am tying today with some UTC 140 in tan, which just kind of matches this, but really any color you use here, as you can see on this fly that I've done in tan already, it just adds a little accent to it. If you're to do it in black or white or olive, that just, you know, it's going to add a little bit of accent in that segmentation on that fly. So don't be too concerned about the thread. Okay, so this is what this guy looks like. Very simple tie. In your kits, we've already even pre-cut all your foam into the shape that you want. So you don't really have to fandangle any of that. We will make one cut into the foam, but other than that, this is what it is. It's not too much going on, but as you can see, it is a great profiled hopper. Vary the color of foam depending on the color of hopper you like. If it's peach, if it's olive, if it's tan like this one. Lots of variations you could do with this, but this is what we're gonna be going after today. So let's go ahead, pop this out, and let's get our next hook in the vise. So this isn't a super big hopper, and I'm not sure about where the waters that you fish, but a lot of times we aren't fishing giant hoppers, and often we have to downsize, so it's nice to have a little bit smaller profiled fly as well. This is gonna be about a size 10 streamer hook, so it's not a giant fly by any means. The foam that we're gonna start off with here that I want you to look at is this guy here. So as you can see, it's all trimmed to shape for you already. I want you to pick an underside, doesn't matter which side, it just can't be the side itself. What I'm gonna do, I think this works easiest with a razor blade. You could probably use a sharp knife of some kind, but if you don't have one, just go ahead, pause the video, go grab one because it's gonna make your life a lot easier. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this razor blade and I'm gonna be cutting basically from about 3/4 of the way back down. I'm gonna make a slice into the foam all the way to the tip of the foam at the head end. So not down the thin side, we're gonna be going this way, down like so. And by doing that, it's gonna allow it to grab that hook, and it's gonna make a little bit more of a purchase, because the thing you're gonna find a little frustrating with this fly maybe is that the foam wants to spin, which you can fix with some super glue by dabbing it on there, or you just get some good tight thread wraps. So I'm gonna start off, first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and make this cut. So I'm gonna come in here, be sure not to cut yourself, get a decently deep cut in here, and I'm gonna take that all the way to the very front of the pattern, making sure it's evenly cut. There we go. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and set that down for a second. Let's go grab our thread. Go like so, okay? Now I'm gonna grab my tag end and I'm gonna start my thread just behind the eye. And I'm gonna lay a little bit of a thread base down here, but I'm only gonna go just beyond halfway down the hook, okay? That's it, and then I'm gonna bring it back forward. And I wanna go back and forth just a couple times. This is gonna also help that foam stick there and have something to grab onto versus just being that bare hook that's gonna be a little slippery. So once I get to there, I'll just go ahead, trim out my tag end, get rid of that guy. Now I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna use just a touch of Sally Hansen's, because as I continue to tie this fly, if I had super glue, that's what I would be using. I just don't have any on the desk right now. So I'm just gonna use some Sally Hansen's. I'm just gonna put a little dab of that on the hook. Ooh, this stuff is cured. And all that's gonna do is that's just gonna help when I put the foam on there. As I start to tie, it's just gonna start to seep into there and it'll start to dry. And essentially by the time you're done the fly, it's gonna help it to be really secure and not wanna spin. So now you can see I've got my cut edge right there. I'm gonna bring this down right on top, and I'm gonna move it so that it slides into that groove. I'll look at the underside, and you should be able to see that, yes, it has slid in there. See that little bit of resin grabbing. And now with it where it is right now, I wanna make sure that the eye of the hook is pointed just outside the front of that foam. Okay, so if I let go, it's gonna look basically like that. Now it looks kind of choppy and blocky right now, but once you start putting thread wraps on this, you're gonna see that it's gonna pull down, and it's gonna give you that kind of that rounded, segmented look. So that's why we use a little bit thicker foam. That's why I'm using a 140 denier, because it's got more strength to it. It also won't cut the foam like a nano thread or something in a 70 denier. So from right here, all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up and over, and I'm gonna make a nice firm wrap. First one's gonna be fairly tight, next one's gonna be tighter. Do a couple more, tighten again. And now as you can see, that's gripped that around that hook shank. Let's close it up nicely. Now here's a little trick that we do to move up and down a foam fly without showing any of our work on the bottom side. So if I flip this over so you can see it like this, I'm gonna come forward and I'm gonna actually make a cross wrap. Now I wanna basically split this front piece of foam in half to create my head and the neck segmentation. So I'm gonna try to do this upside down so I can still see. I'll come right about there, and then I'm gonna go all the way up and over. Okay, so that's what it does. You can see I made the X on top. I'll cinch this down and I'll show you what it looks like underneath. You won't be able to see any of that cross wrap. Okay, so if I show you the underside, all you can tell is that now it's grabbed and it's it's encompassed that hook on the bottom. So likewise, if I need to go backwards now in the fly, I can go back without also creating any problems, which I'm just gonna do it like this. So I cross it over and I'm back in that back groove again. Now this is where I want you to come back to, because we're gonna work with this back groove. We're gonna add our first material here. That's gonna be our legs. Okay, so you're gonna have a bunch of pieces of legs. I'm just gonna grab one of these strands and I'm gonna fold it over in half, so they're even. So I've got them folded. You can see the loop on the bottom. I'm just gonna slide my scissors down into there, pull tension. Try to get this so you can see it. Pull tension so I know it's cutting in the middle. And I'm gonna take one of those pieces now that I've cut, and I'm gonna set it right up against here. I wanna tie it in on the side of the fly, and I want that leg to kind of be pointed back down the fly and to extend about the length to the back. But if it's a little longer, don't worry, because we can always trim it up. So I'm just gonna set that like that with my finger. Get a thread wrap. I'm gonna do 2 loose ones, and I'm gonna readjust this if I need to, which it actually looks like it's sitting about perfectly in the middle of that. So I'm happy with it. Do one more, tighten that one down. I'm gonna go ahead and grab my other piece, and I'm gonna do the same thing on the near side of the fly. Slide it in there. Get my thread wrap, 1, 2, adjust as needed. And then I can do one more for security. Pull that tight, and you'll notice every time I kind of I pull something down on the hook, I actually grab the hook with my fingers before I pull down on my thread. And what that's doing is it's just keeping it from rolling. It actually feels pretty secure right now with that glue, but it's a habitual thing that you should do to try to prevent it from spinning. Now I'm gonna use that same cross technique. I'm gonna follow the same path that I did last time. So I'm just gonna follow that same path. I'm gonna come up here and I'm gonna grab this leg and I'm gonna pull it forward, and I'm gonna tie it in the same fashion right there, making sure that it's sitting roughly in that middle portion of the foam. Got that one done. Now I'm gonna grab the one on the near side of the fly. So you see if I pull too hard, it's gonna spin on me. So that's why it's important to hold on to the foam. Do 2 wraps on this side. Make sure that leg is centered. Looks good. Like it. Now the front ones look really long right now, but we will trim them here in a moment. So once I've got that down, I'm gonna hold the foam, do a couple of wraps, make sure that's good and secure. It's tightened down. I'm happy with it. Should be left with something that looks something like this. Okay. Now I'm gonna go ahead and trim these legs. I basically want to match the front legs to be fairly similar in length to the back legs that are coming off the back. So the easy way to do that is to push your fingers on here and just push those straight out the front. Look at the back ones, gauge roughly, and trim. When I pull it back out, okay, I'm gonna take a little bit more off. The thing is, you can't add it back on, so stop cutting when you're happy and it looks good. Okay, so that's that. I'm happy with the legs. Now all we got to do is we have to add in some cider pieces here. So we're going to add in a piece of Parapost. This could be Zelon, Antron, whatever it is. You've got a long strand of it in here. Any of those materials are going to be just fine. So what I want you to do is just grab a piece that's a little bit longer than the fly itself, because it's always nice to have a little bit extra. I'm just going to cut that off. I'm going to kind of hold on to that very, very tip. And I'm going to tie that tip in right there. Make sure I gather it up good. A couple wraps down to secure it, and I'm just going to leave it back like that. It's a little unruly at the moment, but we're going to fix that with the next step. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a piece of this white foam that you have. Again, grab a piece that's decently long, maybe an inch. I'm going to come and bring it like so. I'm going to trim just a little point into it like that. And I'm going to point that so it's facing forward to the front of the fly. And I want that point to sit right out even with the front of the other foam. And I'm going to take a thread wrap over top of it. Second wrap over top of it. Now grab the foam and pull down tight. And now what you can see that's done is it's pushed this back and kept it where it needs to be. And it's also cinched that foam into the other foam. And this is going to act as a little bit of a cider as well. So you could also do this with orange, or you could pick a pink or whatever color that you like. It shouldn't be able to be seen by the fish, so it's on top of the fly. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to kind of leave about double the space that I had in the front here. I'm going to leave out the top. I'll just cut it at an angle all the way through the first time. So what you're left with is something that looks like that. And then I just come back with another angle on the other side. And that makes another point. Okay? And then I'm going to pull my Antron back so that it's even with the back of the foam. Trim it right there. And there you have it. Now all I got to do is I need to whip finish this fly. So I'm going to come in here, get a little bit of extra thread, grab my whip finish tool. I'm going to do a 3 or 4 turn whip finish. Bring it down, grab that foam, pull it tight. You can go ahead and trim your thread out. You'll see a lot of people do 2 whip finishes. I would as well if I had no intention of adding a little bit more resin here, but I'm just going to put just a spot of resin on those last thread wraps. So I'm using a little bit of UV Cure Bone Dry from Solarez. Put a little cure on that. Whatever resin you want to use here is going to be just fine. It's just going to help that knot from ever coming undone. And there we go, guys. We have the Slum Hopper. As you can see, pretty simple tie. But what a great profile of a hopper. Vary the colors, vary the thread, vary the legs, whatever it is to look like your home water bug. But what a great little pattern. Definitely going to keep a handful of these in your box. All right, guys, it's been Tim Hepworth here with another quick tie from Thursday Night Live Fly Tying and Fly Fishing Board Outfitters. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that little bell, and you're going to see next week when we have a couple more videos pop up. So until next week, have a great week, and we will get back at it soon.